are inadequate in the grand scheme, based simply on my requirements, which have to be adjudicated with the requirements of all the other combatant commands who have legitimate needs for submarines in their regions as well.
Can you give us an assessment of our adversaries' anti-submarine warfare capability?
Yeah. So today, the U.S. reigns supreme in the undersea realm and in anti-submarine warfare. But our adversaries, particularly China and Russia, are closing that gap because they understand that the gap exists, and they're working to reduce our asymmetric advantage. I think that we have to continue to keep that advantage. You know, I don't want it to be a fair fight if we have to go into a fight with these folks, and that means that we have to continue to resource the development and the continued development of our undersea capability and our anti-submarine warfare capabilities.
Does North Korea have significant anti-submarine warfare capability?
They do not.
And are they developing that capability?
They're working on it. They're trying. I mean, they have submarines. They have a lot of them, a lot of smaller submarines. They're diesels, and they have an SSB, which is a ballistic missile capable diesel submarine. And so they recognize the advantages and what the submarine gives them in terms of warfighting. But they're a long way from developing a submarine force that's comparable to any other country that we were talking about in the region.
On the F-35, in your testimony, you note, quote, the forward stationing and deployment of the fifth-generation airframes to the region continues to be a priority for your command. Do you continue to believe that the F-35 is necessary in that part of the world for the defense of our allies? Japan is going to be acquiring them and others.
Senator, I believe that the F-35 is critical most in PACOM than in any other region of the world because of the threat that we face and what the F-35 brings to the fight. And the F-22 is also from Hawaii and Alaska. And so those fifth-generation fighters will allow us to get inside the A2AD area denial area defense capabilities of our adversaries, particularly China in the region. We're going to need fifth-generation fighters to get in there, and they provide that.
Thank you very much, Admiral. Thanks for your great work at PACOM and throughout your career. Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Chairman, Senator Graham, please.
Thank you, Admiral. I want to echo that, too. Thank you for your service and all those that are with you here today and in your command. Is China's activity in the South China Sea, in terms of militarizing the region, getting better or worse or about the same?
I'm not sure what better means, but they are militarizing more now than they were last year.
I would say that's worse.
And from our perspective, that is worse.
Do they understand that we're serious about that's a bad thing?
I believe they are.
And they apparently don't care?
To date.
All right. So how do we make them care?
I think we have to demonstrate credible combat power on the one hand and powerful diplomacy on the other.
Okay. Is it fair to say that unless something changes, North Korea is likely to have an ICBM with a nuclear warhead that can reach America by 2020?
I don't want to put a timeline on that, sir, in this hearing, but it is safe to say that they will have one soon. Okay. They will match rhetoric to capabilities.
Okay, great. Why do they want that missile?
I beg your pardon?
What's the purpose of having that missile?
One, they want to be recognized as a nuclear power, and two, they want to ensure their survival.
Okay. In their mind, it's an insurance policy?
Partly.
Okay. From an American point of view, what kind of threat does that present to us?
It presents today, even though I don't believe they have the full capability. Today, they threaten the 28,000 American troops in South Korea plus their families, 55,000 American troops plus their families in Japan our South Korean and Japanese allies.
What about the homeland? If they get an ICBM with a nuclear weapon attached, what kind of threat do you see that at the homeland?
Depending on the nuclear weapon, depending on the missile, they could reach the eastern seaboard. They could reach us right here in this building.
Is it fair to say that's what they want to do in the western part of the United States? California is probably easier target initially.
I believe they want to be able to threaten the United States.
Well, what kind of threat would that be to us? That'd be a bad thing, right?
That'd be a terrible thing, sir.
Okay. So do you believe it should be the policy of the United States never to let that happen?
I beg your pardon?
It should be the policy of the United States to never allow North Korea to develop an ICBM with a warhead that could hit America.
I believe that's correct.
Okay. Do you believe that the only way they'll change that policy, their desire, is if they believe that the regime could be taken down by us if they continue to develop an ICBM? Without credible military threat in the mind of the North Koreans, they're going to plow ahead.
I believe that generally, but I believe that China might be able to exert its influence.
Do you believe China could change North Korea's behavior absent a belief by North Korea that we would use military force to stop their ICBM program?
I do not.
Okay. Do you believe that China would act stronger and more bold if they believed credible military force was on the table to stop North Korea?
I do.
So it seems to me that the policy of the United States, given the Admiral's advice, and you are really good at what you do, that we should all agree that it's not good for America, for North Korea to have an ICBM with a warhead attached. And it's really not good for China, is it?
I believe it's not good for China.
Well, why don't they believe that?
Because they have their own calculus, their own
do you think they're beginning to reshape their calculus in light of our reaction to North Korea?
I hope so, but it's early days.
Okay. In terms of China leverage on North Korea, you said it was substantial.
Their leverage is potentially substantial.
The best way to avoid a military conflict with North Korea over their missile program is for China to wake up North Korea to the reality of what threat that presents to North Korea and China. Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say.
Is it also fair to say that we do not have any intentions of invading North Korea at all? I mean, that's not on our... Nobody's told you, get ready to invade North Korea.
That is not fair to say, sir. I believe the President has said that all options are on the table.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not going to just go in and take North Korea down for the heck of it.
I don't want to get into what we could or couldn't do.
Well, North Korea thinks we're going to invade in any moment. Do you think that's part of our national security strategy, is without provocation to attack North Korea?
I think North Korea has provided provocation already in terms of...
But without provocation, it's not our policy to attack North Korea.
They have provoked us already, sir.
Yeah, I said, but if they stopped it, they don't have anything to worry about.
Then we will have to look at it. You know,
that's all I'm saying.
That's a decision that...
In case North Korea is listening, none of us want to, invade your country.
They are.
Okay, well, good. So here's the point. All this military force going that way is to deter them from being able to hit us and protect our allies, right?
Right.
We're trying to deter them from hurting us. We're not sending a bunch of people over there to invade their country without provocation. Is that fair to say?
Right.
Good. I hope they understand that, and I hope China understands that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
On behalf of the Chairman, Senator McCaskill, please.
Thank you. Last year, General Scaparetti testified at this hearing that North Korea has one of the largest chemical and biological weapon stockpiles and research programs in the world. Do you agree with that assessment?
I do.
And do you believe that the facts that we know about the death of the half-brother to Kim Jong-un was likely assassinated with VX nerve agent?
Yeah, I do, Senator. That's just based on open source reporting.
Right. But we haven't confirmed that it was used.
I beg your pardon?
We have not independently confirmed that it was used.
I have not seen reporting to reflect that.
So do you know enough about their delivery capabilities of chemical and biological weapons at this point to adequately be prepared to defend our allies and our American soldiers and families in the surrounding vicinities?
I don't know enough about all of their capabilities, and including those that we saw or probably saw in Malaysia. So I think that's part of the readiness calculus